Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website about reimagining your life. Thanks for joining me tonight to talk about what motivates you. So let's get started. If you like what you hear tonight, please leave a like, tell your friends, and send me a message. So, actually, tonight we're running really early for a change. It turns out I had an unexpected family event come up this evening, right when I normally be doing this. So I had to move things ahead in the day. So if you normally catch me as I go live, thanks. I apologize for not giving you a heads up warning. I only found out this morning, and I hope you still enjoy the show. So we've talked a lot about motivation over the past months, actually, and it's included a lot of goal setting and envisionment techniques, positive self talk, and a lot of positive techniques to kind of motivate ourselves when things get a little tedious. But tonight, I also want to talk about the other side of motivation. I don't want to call it negative motivation per se, because it can still motivate us in a very positive direction in our lives. But this type of motivation is being aware of the potential negative consequences if we don't follow through on all our positive techniques. But it even starts kind of a couple steps back in the process. Even before you start trying to make any changes in your life, your brain is probably busy throwing up all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't try and change in order to keep you safe and in your comfort zone. Remember, we've talked about this a lot, that your number one priority of your brain is to make sure that basically you stay alive, that you stay where you're going to be safe. And that's typically in your comfort zone, things you're familiar with, on the premises that if it worked yesterday, it'll probably work tomorrow. So the first reality check, which I prefer that term to negative motivation, is simply to ask yourself, am I happy and satisfied doing what I'm doing now? Because the fear of failing could often be considered a fear of making yourself unhappy or unsatisfied. But if you're already unhappy with a particular situation or unsatisfied with it, then recognizing that fact will make that fear of the unknown far less daunting, because you at least have the chance of discovering a more satisfying path. Think about it. A lot of times when you don't make a change, it's kind of like, well, the only thing good about this job is the money. But the other side of your brain's going, but the money's okay. So do we really want to risk making a change right now? And so a lot of times we keep ourselves in the same place only because we're not sure what might be coming on the other path. Again, as always, this isn't saying to just try any old thing on the assumption that anything is better than what you're doing now. Not saying that at all. Rather, if a potential change, after careful evaluation, seems to have the ability to bring you closer to your preferred life, then this is the way to not just let your brain dismiss it because it's different and so it's scary. It doesn't have to be scary. It's only scary if we don't really address it in a reasonable fashion. So now we see how thinking about a possible realistic outcome can help us make changes in our lives. But once we've changed, it can also be used to help us stay on course and not slip back into old habits. Assume you've made a desired change. Perhaps we'll pick a really common example, whether we started to lose weight and we're getting better physical condition, right? This is a pretty common example because hopefully you made SMART goals. And remember, SMART goals are goals that are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable or actionable, and they're relevant, although they're still kind of reach or stretch goals, and they're time-based. They have a deadline. So you've made this SMART goal with a defined target, and say it's like 10 pounds in 3 months, and the ability to walk a mile or something like that. Something that has some real measurable achievements, but that aren't just crazy. Now, after the first month or 6 weeks, say, your initial motivation is probably starting to wane a little bit, and you're already feeling a little bit better. You're going to the gym in the morning, but this morning you get up and you really don't feel like going to the gym, and it's kind of rainy out, and it's kind of nice in the house, and you forgot you had that extra donut from yesterday, and all these things in your brain is going, remember, you used to feel pretty good when you didn't go to the gym. And this is when those old habits will make their last appeal to get you to go back to the old ways of living. They'll tell you that you've done enough, that you deserve to sleep in, that you can start again, and on and on and on. You've probably heard this story in your head for various things over time. This is when a reality check review can really help to remotivate you when you're tempted to abandon your new habits. Just think about how you felt before you started to change. Do you want to feel like that again? Think about how all the compliments you've been getting. Do you want them to stop? Think about the plans you're making for a more athletic vacation. You wanted to go places you always wanted to go, but didn't feel you had the energy to. Do you want to have to cancel those plans and that trip because you can't walk that mile again? Yes, it's certainly kind of a tough self-love talk, and it can't be your primary motivation. But sometimes when you're badly tempted to give up on yourself, you may find it helpful to remind yourself of everything that you've gained, but you put at risk if you don't follow through. Again, this is absolutely an emergency motivation. It simply doesn't work long term, and it can be even detrimental if overused. When you accidentally find yourself in the candy aisle in the store, say, or it's useful just to give yourself a few seconds of extra motivation to get you out of there before your old habits trick you into trying to give up. So let's review the overall approach again to keep things in perspective. Ideally, you've developed a vision, and we talked about that a lot, and we'll talk about it more. Then you've made some SMART goals, right? Remember the SMART goals we just went through. And those help you make decisions that move you towards you being your best self and to live towards your vision in a life that you really want. Now, by using all those little aids we've talked about, such as managing negative self-talk and replacing with positive comments, or celebrating each and every little win, because when you do that, that's shifting your whole life direction to the direction that you want. But still, your brain will be concerned. It wants to keep you safe, and safe is doing familiar things. So even though your conscious mind is supportive, your subconscious mind is still a little bit concerned, a little hesitant. Then some stressful situation arises. Could be internal or external stress, doesn't matter, but just something comes up unexpected. And even doing something that's normally totally non-stressful, but maybe it just puts you, something about the situation changes that dynamic. And this is when your inner mind will kick in and trying to get you to return to familiar patterns. Don't talk to strangers. Don't get up and present in front of the audience. Don't skip that meal. Go have that dessert with your friends, whatever it is. And for me, times like this is when doing a quick reality check on any potential decision is kind of a good emergency motivation to stay true to my goals. Again, use it sparingly and briefly. But I find that the occasional burst of energy that comes from thinking about what happens if I don't follow through on my goals is usually enough to get me over that brief hump and avoid the temptation. That's it for the week. I hope you found this additional little kind of emergency motivator tip useful for those unexpected moments when you feel like giving up. Your homework, optional of course, is to think about why you chose some of your goals and then think about what would happen or not happen if you gave up on them. Bonus points, as always, bonus points if you turn those into reality checks and kind of turn them around and turn them into additional positive motivations. Every success builds upon the foundation of previous successes. So with some practice, most of the times you wouldn't even have to use the emergency motivation because you'll think of even more positive motivations when you start to feel tempted, and it'll just power you through and truly powering you through because of a positive goal is a lot more powerful than the negative ones. So you really want to build up a whole backlog of positive reasons why you want to do stuff, and that'll get you through most every situation. Your brain likes successes, and the more you can associate success with your new goals, the easier they will become. That's it for the evening. Thank you very much. As always, UKR7. Remember, the war in Ukraine is certainly still on. It's in high gear right now. Or if not Ukraine, anywhere there's disasters or people who need assistance, if you're able and interested, lots of links on ukr7.com, including links to the World Central Kitchen. They're active all over the world in all sorts of areas where disasters have happened. Remember that one of the best ways to care for yourself is to care for others. So if you can and are able, please check it out, ukr7wck.org. Let me put that link up because I'm just saying it quickly. wck.org. That's the World Central Kitchen. Anything you can do in any particular situation to help others is a really good way to help get yourself out of yourself, look at the rest of the world, and see what a positive impact you can have on the rest of the world. So as always, thank you for stopping by. If you found something interesting or useful, please pass it along and please hit that like button. If not, please drop me a comment as to what you'd like to hear. Have a great week. Remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone. See you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.